What is up? Hello.
How we doing?
What's up, guys? Wow, you got the whole squad in the studio.
We do. We got Kevin. We got Wes Scooted.
I'm out. Okay. What's going on, guys?
What's going on?
We're gonna get nice and cozy.
Nice and cozy.
time.
Yeah, get cozy.
Well,
Get cozy.
We got one more probably joining us, but we'll see where we're going.
The more the merrier. Jack.
Talking about me or you talking about Colin?
Colin.
All right, fair enough. Can you hear me okay?
Hey. Yeah, we can hear you good.
Good stuff.
Good to see you guys.
We're live here.
Welcome, folks. Welcome. Players gonna play My Pet Hooligan. We're just hooligans here. That's it for this whole stream. You guys can see my screen well?
Yes.
All right, we're gonna switch to the in-game music here. You guys got people to make custom songs for this, huh?
We did. Actually, we've done that all in-house.
Yeah, that's right. I got a anime hooligan.
There you go.
Nice. Very
That's
cool.
right. I spend in-game money. I'm not afraid to pay to win for cosmetics. Everyone knows skins are pay to win.
There we go.
Looking good, pal. Looking good.
That's sweet that you guys did all the music in-house too. I knew you were animating.
Yeah, and actually a shout out to some of the community members also got involved in the music as well. We got a few verses from community members.
Oh, that's
And
sweet.
one actual track. Shout out to Crypto NFT Maniac, big mutant track, which is like from a pretty prominent metal band out in Europe as well. So some big stuff still coming on the soundtrack. But you know, one of the things we're dedicated to is making sure we've got the best in-game soundtrack as well. It's not just about making the best game. It's about having the best soundtrack as well, because we know how it goes. We like to vibe some good music as well whilst we're playing, right?
That is 100%
I'm
true.
going to tell you a story. Back in the days, I used to have, I was just going to show my age a little bit, but I used to have Half-Life on disc, and I don't know if you remember, but if you installed Half-Life fully, you could put an audio disc in, and it'll actually play the music from your audio CD in line with the music. And sorry, in line with the game activities. So it's pretty cool.
I did not know that. I
There
thought
you
I want
go.
to play Half-Life now. So maybe that's what I'm doing tonight.
No, it was a whole vibe. Trust me.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. Anyway, I'm going to be quiet for a minute. Sorry, hijacked
No,
it.
you're good. I was just showing the Founders Pass here. I was looking at it earlier today. It's really well done.
Thank you, man. Nice. Are we live right now?
Yeah, we're live.
All right. Oh,
Sorry if that wasn't clear.
No.
Well, I'm glad everyone was well behaved.
Okay.
I'm glad everyone didn't say anything too off base.
No,
We're live. We are live.
Good.
Right.
Well, yeah, I'm glad you're touching in on the music too. I mean, here at AMGI Studios, you know, we have, I mean, everything from the full team of animators, developers, producers, art department, everything here in the studio. But then we also have a recording studio here as well. And so, you know, maybe at one point during this, this stream, I may pick up the laptop or our very, very, very high-end recording equipment that we have in front of us and pick you guys up and give you a little tour and show you some of the cool stuff we got going on. But I won't.
Yeah, we should do that in a bit, and I'll make your guys' screen the kind of the on stage thing. So people can see
Creative
that.
powerhouse. The studios, all angles of entertainment.
That's true.
I love the character screen. Like the bunny's just so animated.
Yeah.
You guys did a lot of mocap for that, I assume.
Well, mocap
Actually.
and keyframe animation. I mean, honestly,
Okay.
Quick little introduction here is like I'm Luke Paglia. I'm the COO, one of the co-founders here at AMGI Studios. Colin Brady, he's the Chief Creative Officer and CTO of AMGI Studios as well. One of the other co-founders here too. We have Kevin Mack. He's our lead senior developer on My Pet Hooligan and so much more than that. And I'm sorry if I'm butchering your title there. I know it's way more in depth than that. We got Wes Paglia over here as well.
Hello.
Web3 creative director.
Hello.
It's Skyhopper.
Yeah, and Skyhopper over there, so who's chiming in.
Always chiming in.
But so Colin has a long history of animation background, stemming back from Pixar days, early Pixar days, working with Steve Jobs, and you know a lot of greats along that road. Yeah. And so what you're seeing here is kind of the culmination of like all that experience coming into the gaming studio and the gaming space of bringing high quality animated characters with beautiful eyes, beautiful animation, mixed with mocap, mixed with keyframe to get that My Pet Hooligan feel.
Yeah, it's funny. Our animation team is really stellar. So yeah, mostly what you're seeing right now is pure keyframe animation. But we're not snobs. Whether it's motion capture or keyframe, it's like whatever is right.
Looks good, right?
It's whatever's right for the moment. Like a lot of dances, the best dances come from real dancers. The best acting comes from real people getting up and acting. But then you want to caricature it, make it larger than life. Something that goes back to even before we founded AMGI Studios. I was working with this guy, Kevin Mack, at a company called Pixelmondo. They're most known for doing the dragons for Game of Thrones. But it was conversations that struck up between us where he really turned me on to the Unreal Engine to begin with. But just the idea that in those days, Unreal wasn't really made for facial animation. It was made for robots and soldiers and zombies, everything that avoided facial animation. And so when people said, yeah, it's not really made for like Disney style faces, I thought, well, there's an area of growth right there. There's an opportunity.
That's so awesome.
So that's what we did.
And I noticed here you guys have a way to animate your Hooligan with some self phone capture too, right?
Yeah, you could hook up your iPhone. I mean, not a lot of people are doing it, but it has that feature, and I think it's kind of this hidden gem under the hood.
Wow.
Yeah.
Paying dividends, I think, moving forward.
But it gets way cooler. So I don't want to spill the beans too much, but this is kind of the first gen of what we, wanted to really push forward is having the ability to puppeteer your characters in game. And so right now that live link setup is so you can hook up your phone and you could be in game talking as your character, puppeteering your character, right? You can have them pop up on screen or do it in game. But where we're taking a step further is kind of removing the clunkiness of having your phone set up there and having the ability to just do it as you're talking into a microphone, as you're talking, just like you have your headset in right now. It'd be as simple as just having your character running around and you having a conversation with your friend in game, and it's lip sync to everything you're saying. So coming soon.
Yeah, and hanging out with your friends.
Too much?
Yeah, Kevin. I mean, you described it pretty.
No, you should spill everything you got.
Yeah,
Just to know.
Well, I mean, the idea of hanging out with your friends and going on missions and stuff like that, you want to hang out with them and see them and see their expression on their face as they're playing. And so we're very excited under the hood. There's some things going on, but yeah, just pure microphone driven facial animation and expressions and body language is something that we're very excited about, because this is a community experience. This isn't just you hiding out in your closet playing a game. What got us here is the community, the power of the community and working together. And so we're trying to put all that in the game.
Kind of the next version, the next generation of voice chat, putting it in you can actually embody your character in game.
Yeah, and it ties into a big movement that we're doing now toward more social play in the game and more cooperative play in the game. Our competitive multiplayer is pretty good right now. It's pretty refined. So now I really kind of want us to lean into the social aspect of the game. It's hey, you want to go and play with your friends, or you're a new player and you're not feeling comfortable going competitive yet. It's what's your experience of just kind of being in this and having fun. Because we play games to hang out.
Yeah.
It's a new social medium, and and that's our next big push.
I mean, it makes sense, guys. A big part of what I feel the Web3 space embodies is the community aspect. So I love to see games actually taking that and then leveraging what's going on in tech and what's going on in gaming and how you can implement that, not just blockchain, but everything around it. And, you're making a game here that can really embody that sense of community, but in the gameplay, which is really hard to do, outside of just making servers for people to play together. Now you're taking it a step further. I also bought that undies set.
There we go.
Before we get into the gameplay, I mean, I'd love to talk about the announcement we just had the other day, talking about Studio Chain. Why don't you guys tee up some Studio Chain, details, simplified and maybe a little bit on the dev side for any nerds that are watching and want to know a little bit of that Orbit side?
Absolutely. I guess, Skyhopper, do you want to take the first lead on that?
Yeah, for sure, man. So basically, Studio Chain's a chain being built in partnership between the Carrot Foundation and Arbitrum specifically, the aim is to really carve out a new lane for entertainment and entertainment experiences within the traditional entertainment industry, but actually using Web3 communities, Web3 activations. We know the Web3 communities are some of the strongest communities out there, and we know that traditional industries are very much wanting to get involved in this industry. They see it as an important technological shift. They see that there's strong communities in the space. They're seeing, a lot of traditional organizations get behind it now. And it's like, they feel like they're missing out here. They're the institutions that are getting FOMO. They're also the institutions and industries that are kind of heavily affected right now by kind of lack of community, by various kind of things that are plaguing the traditional industry. So Studio Chain's about kind of really developing out using networks, specifically AMGI's got a ton of networks within the entertainment industry they could talk to bring some of these traditional systems into Web3. So, it was interesting reading the Decrypt article because I kind of felt in a similar way to it, talking about, competition and users from other chains, and there's too many chains out there. But, this is to complement what's going on in the industry, and it's still in its infancy. There's a lot of areas and room to grow. And I think between what the Carrot Foundation have and what AMGI Studio has and the networks they have, there's a lot to look forward to in that space, particularly with, My Pet Hooligan, which is kind of coming first to Studio Chain and will be the launch product there as well. So yeah, it's about carving out a new lane for Web3 in entertainment, and that's an industry that AMGI Studios probably know like the best of them, and probably the best in the space at, proven over several years. And you're going to see that whilst you're playing the game. You'll also see that with the kind of content that's coming up, the level of expertise in-house, where our people have come from, who we've worked with, and all kinds of stuff. I don't know if anyone else wants to jump in there.
Yeah, I'll jump in real quick on that, Skyhopper. So at least from the AMGI side, one of the things that we find particularly exciting, one of the reasons we're so excited for this partnership and to be supporting, Studio Chain is, us as a studio have always been very technology focused and looking at where that threshold of technology and the industry are kind of meeting and how we can start to push that forward. So for us, when it comes to our entertainment background, our animation background, and just the incredible, game and creative talent that we have here, we feel that we're in a very unique position to be able to help drive that forward, bring other Web 2, whether they're games or entertainment properties, things like that, start to bring them into the Web 3 world. There are a bunch of different touch points and feature sets that we are primarily focused on that we feel like we could really start to add value there with. So it's something that we're really excited about. Yeah. We feel like we can, there's a tremendous opportunity.
Yeah. And to dig down a little bit more too, it's like, we always wanted to say like, this chain is created by creators for creators, and, having Studio Chain. When we started this company, we were saying, okay, we want to be an IP factory. Let's go sell to the studios. Let's go that traditional route. And that was in 2019. And we hit COVID. We had to pivot. We had to find all these different avenues to get our IP out there. We found ourselves going into Web3 gaming. We found a beautiful home there with a beautiful community and a whole new opportunity to really refine the technology that we were already creating here in house. And, we see that there's a huge void right now in the entertainment space where
it's changing so much.
It is.
Right?
It's rapidly changing. There's an identity crisis that's happening out there, and they're trying to figure out there's always going to be new IP, but not always new ways to fund it. And with the Web3, community, or just the Web3 space in general has been able to tap into is new ways to fund IP. So we're trying to bring our
relationships,
experiences into more of that traditional entertainment space, and leading with My Pet Hooligan, leading with that IP, leading with that game, is really kind of the way that we want to show, not tell, prove that this is how we're doing it, prove this is how we're doing it with Studio Chain, so others can then adopt, others can then follow. Working with the Arbitrum, folks, with you guys, even before our announcement, we've been working on this for a handful of months. It's been an incredible experience to really just kind of dive deep with you guys and share our vision, share what we want to do. and to have that met with like the same kind of excitement and vision, met back with kind of where we want to push. We know we got crazy ideas, but crazy ideas have great outcomes. So
absolutely,
I want to jump in here as well, and I definitely want to say, I think it's important that the studio. Some people on here are our community. You've heard from us before, right? But there's a lot of new people on here. I think it's important they understand the kind of experience and the networks that the studio has, who's involved, etc., and the partnerships as well. But I also want to, before that, just give a shout out to Arbitrum as well. Arbitrum is proven. I'm going to do an Arbitrum sales pitch now, but it's proven tech, scalable, secure. I think Arbitrum's got great partners in the ecosystem. I think there's some great, opportunities, some wide collaborations there and cross networking.
Incredible partners.
Arbitrum are very welcoming, willing to work with you and support, rather than just kind of say, here's some tools, go and do your own thing. So I think that's really important to development and relationships as well. So I personally, from my perspective, see some big ways to open up this collaboration even further, kind of exploring other entertainment verticals as well. Not to say there's still good chains out there and good people out there. To shout out to everybody who's doing the thing in the industry as well. It's not about competition; it's about furthering the space together. Sorry, I was gonna hand back over to the studio there, because I think it is important. You guys let everyone know the depth of the expertise here, and
Maybe I'll jump in a little bit. My background and many of the people here, our background is mostly feature film production, animation. I was one of the first animators at Pixar, and got to see that thing explode from warehouses, very much like this, near Oakland, California, and then see the whole thing explode into a worldwide brand. We're trying to do the same thing here, and so many of us, some of our animation team, they've worked for DreamWorks and Disney, and I work for Lucasfilm as well, and so we're bringing all these people together. And many of us, always viewed video games as kind of like the dark side. Like it's something that was always like a bigger. It was kind of like it was kind of like this.
Speak for yourself.
It's 10 times the industry of feature films, I think, or at least 5 times. And so it was always kind of considered it wasn't ready for prime time yet. The quality wasn't there. Well, now it is. Now we can get frame rates at 120 frames per second. We can get full quality and cloth simulation and effects. Now with AI coming into it, so we're at this whole new era where it's finally kind of crossed this threshold. So ironically, it's become kind of this creation tool where all of a sudden, where all of the graffiti in the game is created by the community. Every single piece of graffiti has been community created and put on the walls. So now the community is starting to participate in what the narratives of these games can be, and so we're getting kind of a grassroots encouragement from the community saying, when you guys are going to do a feature film? So ironically, it's almost come full circle, where the game is now informing other content. So that's for me a crazy journey, and we're just getting started.
No, that's really well said. I mean, you guys covered a lot. You ate up all my questions, so that's great.
If you're not used to speaking to us, we do a hell of a lot of talking on Spaces.
One thing I've always preached for gaming and why it's so important. I mean, I grew up in the early '90s, so that's when things were really starting to take off. But the fact that the amount of mixed media in a game, when done holistically, is just, you can't really match it. And then on top of that, you're interacting with it as a person. So I think that's really cool that gaming has just covered the whole sphere of it. It's if it's done holistically, like I said, it's a movie, it's so much storytelling, there's music, there's visual art, there's animation, there's so much stuff. It's crazy.
It's interesting too. For us, Web3 brought us to gaming in a way, but we were already naturally well positioned for it. But
our studio's built on the Unreal engine.
On Unreal.
So we were animators, developers, creating IP.
All of these things
engine
really happened in Confluence together for us. And so it's kind of a natural next step for us to continue to kind of push all these boundaries. And we've always seen ourselves, as uniquely positioned, not only in the entertainment and gaming industry, but then also trying to, again, push that boundary of what this all could be together. So, again, being in support of Studio Chain and Arbitrum, it really is something that we're pumped for it. We're here for it. You know,
excited.
Lock and load.
cool,
Yeah.
you know, exciting
That's
next
awesome.
step.
It's important. We're eating our own dog food.
Yeah,
here, too,
definitely.
you know, and
Yeah.
I really think that's important in developing a technology is you have to use it.
Damn right.
And so, you know, having the game and having the studio chain, bringing them together, that's how we figure out whether or not we're solving the right problems and whether we're solving them in the right way. Because what you don't want is somebody who's sort of guessing what somebody else is going to need and they think they're solving it right.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's like there's no substitute to like just really using your own thing
Damn right.
and not putting it out the door until you love it.
Yeah.
And it's solving your problems for you.
It's also to give a shout out
That's
to
it.
this guy as well. I mean, you know, we're in such new territory that we're finding as we're kind of in this like bleeding edge. We're finding that there are new tools that need to be created, and
Constantly.
it turns out there's no one out there creating them. So it looks like it's up to us. So, for example, the server that the Epic Game server that these guys were using, they built the first Linux version of the server, I believe is correct. And so we found we needed to scale this for multiplayer. So they built their own. Same thing, you know.
On the LLM side of things, we've had to build our own tools there as we bring it into Engine and bring our, you know, start to like. There's things that you go to the message boards and ask questions, and you know there's no documentation. It's a good sign when you say, okay, let's maybe not disclose all that information out there to those message boards. Let's maybe keep a lot of that stuff in house for a little while.
I mean, yeah, just
keep a nice lead there.
To drill down on that, you know, everyone knows ChatGPT, and of course we're using it as well on a daily basis. But that's not the only LLM around. I mean, there's Llama 3, there's DeepSeek, there's all these different kinds of models, and so these models are all, you know, large, medium, and small different models, and various costs and various abilities, image recognition. But it turns out to put this inside the Unreal game engine is something no one has really done well. So that's what we're also creating.
It's hard to do.
It's very hard to do well.
Yeah.
So it's
But what happens when you put that in a game?
Well, that's right. So all of a sudden you're going to have very intelligent characters in the game. And so we have an AMGI LLM that we've created, and it's its own plugin that exists kind of like a brain, kind of like an engine, separate even from these characters. So that's something that we talked about, the possibility of licensing this to a larger community.
All right, guys. Well, I think it's time for some gameplay.
I was gonna say, Eli, I'm getting hit up by people.
I'm getting, my fingers are starting to jitter. I need to shoot something. How do we do this? We just hit find game.
Yeah, find game, and then let's go to Anarchy. Go to Anarchy, and then let's do. You're in the U.S., correct? Sorry if I'm doxing.
I'm in Eastern Canada.
Are you going to U.S. server?
Yeah, probably US East.
Yeah, U.S. East.
Yeah.
And jump in.
Let's go.
All the little details, like down to this, like the background image here, are just so perfect. Like a lot. That's where you guys just really crush it, like end to end, in terms of having these things in house, and where it really shines through. I think because it makes a huge difference, and just it makes you feel like you're inside the world every step of the way, which I always appreciate about your product.
Thank you, man. I mean, it's a big deal to make it feel like one cohesive product, and to have like different variations of the, you know, of the look and aesthetic, you know. So having your 3D models and your 2D models is you know, important.
Yeah, it's a lot easier said than done.
US West, I'm sorry.
I just did auto because it wasn't finding a.
1 second.
Make sure Lord Vic's not in there.
Zuckbot.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Oh, there you go, man.
Let's go.
So we are in the can factory battling right now.
I love the can factory.
Great.
Willy Wonka.
Yeah, you want to kind of try and find some better tools.
No.
Water pistol's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a sleeper.
In fairness, that thing's actually can be a death machine.
Well, that's one of our project managers and leads who just killed you there. So you're up against some pretty sweaty people in here.
All right, how do I grab this carrot?
No,
So
you
here's
guys-
your health. So that's your health.
Okay.
Probably worth probably. I see you're not a veteran here, so probably
I'm
worth
not.
just talking us through some of these things here, Luke. The UI, what to grab, skateboard, what everything does.
better than me. How about Kevin Mack over here?
Yeah. So D-pad left will put you on your skateboard, and then you can hit your Y button to get your gun
Oh,
back.
dude, there we go.
Trick that a lot of people like to do in combat is they use the skateboard until they're up against who
Position.
they want to fight, and then
Yeah.
they pull the weapon out.
It's a very
That's another-
little kind of feature that came out of that was the skateboarding in the combat ended up becoming some really interesting meta. You can get around the map a lot faster on your skateboard, but you can't fire your weapon while you're on your skateboard, so you have to.
Yeah, you got to be shifty.
It's a great.
Hold on, I need to plug in my controller. I was using mouse keyboard here. I wasn't.
Oh yeah.
Whatever you prefer.
It's interesting because like that's quite a unique feature of this game is the whole skateboarding and skateboarding mechanics. Like
I love it.
there's actually a lot of tricks you can do. There's a boost meter. You can do an unlimited amount of tricks. So there is that element of Tony Hawk in there, whilst you're also kind of a rabbit and running around shooting different kinds of guns. Like that's a water pistol. You've got a shotgun which throws out gum. You've got interesting is a plunger rifle. So you got some interesting weaponry here. It's kind of edgy but safe at the same
You're gonna
time.
want to get back into that, past that threshold again.
How do I kickflip?
I think is that B?
I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, there's a handful of tricks you can do. It's pretty great. You have a boost meter and everything.
If you go into the red, you're gonna have a bad time.
All right, get up.
You can learn some new tricks by deploying the RBP method. It's a random button pushing.
One of our mods just messaged and said you probably should have started out in the hangout mode.
Oh, hey, yeah, probably. I didn't realize it was going to be full force like this.
Sorry, man. I could have given you a better heads up, dude.
No, you're good. Oh, no. Look at me
there's
flopping around.
There's also like an intro story
man.
mission. Have you done that one yet? But there is an
No,
intro
no.
story mission.
I'm
That's
coming
pretty cool.
in fresh.
Yeah, when you do get to play it again, go through the whole intro story as well. It'll give you a bit of a background on what's going on in this game and why you've been just thrown into battle. Introduces you to some of the key characters, some of the background story as well. It's pretty interesting, very very movie like, very very well done.
Oh, there's the map. I like the map.
The skateboard feature is one of my favorite.
Yeah, maybe you should jump in and hang. What do you reckon? Should we go and hang out, or do you want to stay here? Luke?
Yeah,
Some
absolutely.
Zuckbots.
Yeah,
Hang out, yeah.
Yeah, let's try and go and hang out for a bit and just wander around.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You don't have to watch your back at every moment and be so stressed out. I can see the sweat already dripping down your
Yeah,
forehead.
my hat is drenched. All right, hang out.
jump on in.
Jump on in.
Let's go.
Here we go.
Look at that beautiful artwork as well.
Beauty.
Got a nice Xbox Razer controller here too.
Yeah, there we
We're
go.
ready to go. Something went
Make-
wrong.
oh,
so I restarted it.
Big shout out. Make sure you go on wishlist. Anyone who's watching in, go to Xbox right now and wishlist this game. It is coming to Xbox. You need to wishlist it. Anyone want to give a bit of background on these robots?
Please.
So yeah, so there's many different kinds of Zuckbots that you can fight. Little ones, big ones. The small ones are called QTs. There's like the scale ones called AP, and then one big.
Pizza box one with pizza boxes at you.
Yeah,
And you have a threat level, so kind of similar to your wanted level in GTA. You'll have a threat level come up, then you'll have Zuckbots come find, try to get you, and try to attack you.
yeah. And these were all created by the Zuck Corp, and they're meant to kind of keep you
Keep you in line.
keep you in line,
Yeah.
keep you compliant.
It's the-
And they're actually pretty safe until you shoot at them.
Yep.
Then the lights turn red, and now game on.
then they're no fun.
Shooting.
It's like the police meter in GTA basically, but you could have just had fun and not aggravated them. But what you've got here is essentially the whole map now with the different areas that are set up based on the factions. So there are 7 factions within the Hooligans. I'm going to go through all of them, but you've got mutants, playboys, bunners, hair raisers, and they've got their own little area of the city. So as you kind of navigate through this, you'll go to different areas, and then there's Zuck Corp in the center. So that's the different colors demarcations are. But from here, you can pick up quests. There'll be job boards. You can go and do little jobs and quests for XP and street cred, which also is, something we urge as many people to try and get as much as for various reasons. But some people have already been rewarded quite nicely for that. So that's a system we're currently testing out as well. So you can go and get a job now. Let's see if you can pull one of these off.
All right, listen, I know you've all seen these stories from this reporter who calls themselves S or something. Of course, I respect the press, but this person is making some accusations, unsubstantiated claims.
Oh my God.
Certain individuals and their dealings. Seems like you'd be helping the people if you limited some of their methods of mistruth. Wow. And it's anonymous at that. This is some tea. Get some street cred, some XP.
There you go.
Accept and track.
Let's go.
All right.
What a nice fellow just walked past you.
He's a nice guy. All right, so let's deal with the stain on our news system. Where do any tips here?
Sorry, you broke up there for a sec.
Oh, I was curious. Where do I go for from here for the quest?
What's the objective? Destroy news boxes.
Oh, destroy mailboxes.
Oh, just
you gotta find the mailboxes and destroy them.
Okay. Just like people's mailboxes, any mailboxes?
Yeah, there's a handful that'll be all just put around the city.
That's what we used to do in high school, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just
that's
leaning out of a car with a baseball bat. Actually,
so led to Wes's stint in federal prison.
Yeah, exactly.
I think people are still doing it today.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think there should be one right around here.
I think it's
blue mailboxes. There's some.
These ones, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Right, how do I get off this thing? Oh, there we go.
Pick a weapon.
Throw a grenade at him.
Hold on, I got to spray paint them first.
Oh,
Hey, there we go.
Yeah,
oh my God, poison! Who is that? What's the name tag? Anyone we recognize?
Cat's Koparax.
Oh
He's
yeah,
a
we
chill
know
guy.
Koparak. Yeah, good guy. Good.
Good stance.
You're winning a lot
Oh,
He deserves it.
Relentless.
All right,
that's
those aren't the right mailboxes.
Oh, you know what? No.
Oh, there we go.
Sorry,
It's
man,
the-
I led you astray.
I know.
It said mailboxes, but it's the newsstands.
you've got Koparak's angry now.
Oh God, what's going on out here?
He tried to kill somebody who's just there minding their own business, having a stroll around the back. What do you expect?
It's crazy.
That's consequence.
especially in Hangout. Oh, you can.
Hangout mode's cool. I like
It's
that.
supposed to be a safe mode.
I like that there's quests in here. It kind of gives you like this online MMO situation.
Definitely.
Yeah, and there's really cool stuff. No, this is where the cooperative play is going to be coming in the social play. So it's
All right, I got to. I think
We got lots of stuff coming imminently, and also we got big plans for the future too.
got to lower the.
One of the
shooting
things
here.
I loved about playing Method Hooligan that was different than most shooters that I've played was the vibe with the music in the background. Like, especially learning that it's custom music that you guys have, like a custom soundtrack for the game.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Shout
it
out
just
to
creates a really nice atmosphere that is palpable, and I love.
Well, there's something that we talk about here, and I know certainly Kevin talks about this a lot, and also our game director Carl. That games are tactile things, and it's very important that it has a feel. That there's a texture to it, right? And
yeah.
and all of these elements contribute to that texture and feel, and I feel like that's what really ends up giving the quality to a product like this.
It's an absorbing experience. It's like games, like you said, like games are tactile. It's not a visual medium; it's a feel medium, and everything you do contributes to that. I also love that the music kind of came to us organically. It's it's like one of the an artist on our floor, Keenan, came in one day with this track that he had made, and he said, "Hey, check this out," and we're like, wow, this is actually really good.
Awesome.
I mean, there's actually a story behind that, isn't there, Colin? You said you were in Trader Joe's or something, doing some
Yeah,
grocery
no,
shopping.
at the grocery store, and I get this call like on from Messenger or Facebook or something, and I'm like, who uses this? And then all of a sudden he's like, hey, it's Keenan, I want to play this song. I mean, my boy created, and I'm like, all right. And I'm in the middle of shopping right now, and then he starts playing this thing. I'm like, holy crap, this is really good. And so it was just completely organic. And it just, I don't know, it just really speaks to the vibe of our studio, the community, the fact that every single person here contributes to this thing. It's not like there's not like a top down kind of hierarchy here. It's everybody is like putting their heart and soul into this thing. So we probably have 10, 12 different original songs in this
Totally.
released right now.
Yeah, we have a full album that's coming out with this too. So it's really grown from just that one track into a full album, and then all the tracks that are in the game as well are all created here. So we have a lot of just like ambient tracks, stuff like that don't have any dialogue in them, that are just original soundtracks we've created.
There's a lot of verticality in this game as well, so you might see some jump pads. You want to try to use them, you get up and high. This is a cinema. There's a theater in there as well. We can broadcast stuff too. So there's a lot of little social elements in this map as well. You're probably not going to see them on this first go, but in the theater we can broadcast various different pieces of content to the screen. And even through there's going to be little speakers in the different areas depending on the zone you're in. You'll get different kind of soundtrack as well, kind of taking that from GTA.
Oh, and all these movie posters in the theater, these all came from the community too.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, all the graffiti you're seeing on the walls, I've not seen any for a while, but all the graffiti you see on the walls is all community designed as well. So the community really gets stuck in and help with this whole thing. It really is building open and building together.
When you say that, did they submit like specific kind of street art commissions to put around the map, or is this like literally they go around graffitiing it like we saw Eli did earlier and it sticks?
Yeah, it's on Discord. So we have a very vibrant Discord community. Mike Hooligan and Skyhopper there, really helped lead the charge with that. So one of those channels is just for people to submit their own graffiti, and probably 98% of them I think we just use. And they're all really high quality. So people have asked us, hey, can we get these, as decals? Can we wear these as t-shirts? And so I think that's all coming. I think part of this ecosystem, and that's what's so great about you guys helping us out with this, is that we're creating kind of this farmer's market where we want creators to be able to ultimately sell their own stuff, create custom versions of their wearables, and so in the same way that people have created their own graffiti, we have a very, very creative community. Now, not everybody's creators, right? But we want people to create their own merch and sell their own merch, and so that's what's kind of going on here. It's just it's a very eclectic kind of marketplace.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Excuse me. Oh, boxing gloves.
Look, there's a boxing ring in the game as well. We see often the community will get in the ring and have one-on-ones. So there's a lot of social interesting elements here.
Old X.
By the way, you are in like a lot of people have got safe mode turned on, so you can't actually damage them much. So friendly fire's off right now.
That's nice that you can even do that, frankly.
Yeah.
And like again, it's like you see the animation here with the gloves. There'll be combos. Obviously, different buttons are going to trigger different moves. You've almost got the Shoryuken there as well. So there's a lot of attention to detail, and just got to give credit to the animators on that different level.
Yeah, flex off those animations, Eli. That's right.
It looks so good. There's like a little blur effect to the animation, like motion blur
Yeah,
there.
you can really
Cool.
see the facial expressions well. I mean, not so much now that he's covered in
I got a squad of hooligans with me, where it's kind of just like a guild here.
Spray painting, they don't like the color of your skin. They want to make you blue.
Yeah,
They want me blue.
one thing too is we've given the players the ability to draw whatever they like with the spray paint, and as you can imagine, there's a few shapes that always appear, but at other times they'll be they'll like I'll be in the game and someone will just like spell like hello, where are you, and like all this like crazy stuff. It's like, dude, pretty wild.
Let's see if you can draw the My Pet Hooligan logo on the floor. Let's see if anyone can draw that around you.
See, that's one of those shapes that.
Oh, man, now we're gonna get banned.
How do I take out my spray can again?
Sorry about that.
It's bound.
Someone's listening.
Exactly. you gave him a great idea.
I'm gonna shill Xbox again. Make sure anybody who's watching this or listening in, go wish list on Xbox. I don't think you need an Xbox to wish list either, but if you've got one, even better. And share the screenshot. We are doing a giveaway actually for a AMGI studio designed skinned Xbox. So I think they've already got it in the studio now. The art team are working on it. It's going to be a custom designed Xbox for one lucky winner. And all you got to do is go and press the wish list button and take a screenshot. Not much to ask for, is it? But you know, the whole Xbox thing, I think, is an absolutely massive opportunity for us. Also a massive opportunity for the space and distribution to a target market as well. You know, that been working on that for a while. It's not necessarily easy to get, but specifically when we've been at different conventions like the GDC, PAX West, we noticed a lot of requests for when's this coming out on console? When's this coming out on console? And you know, we really think that there's a lot of play to come there. So really excited about that, taking it by the horns for the Web3 industry. And I believe we're probably one of the first to kind of make our way to console as well. So yeah, everybody do that push. Let's get popping.
Yeah, huge congrats to you guys for that. There's no question that it'll be big for distribution. That's one of the
It'll be big for Arb as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, we're pumped. Huge win.
Thank you, man. I like the Arb logo you got going on here.
I'm trying to.
It's pretty good.
Getting foiled.
Yeah, this guy's messing with me. Playboy Stacks. Get out of here, Playboy.
Playboy Stacks is a legend. He's been with us for a while. Great 3D budding upcoming 3D artist as well. He's been to the studio a few times. So big shout out to Playboy Stacks, OG. And you know, big shout out to all the community. We love our community. You know, sometimes things can get tough, but you know, there's a lot of love both ways. And you know, we really appreciate them. We appreciate the feedback. They hold us to account. It's good. It's gonna be challenging at times, but it's also very helpful as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So big shout out to everybody there.
Oh God.
You know, one of the things too with actually being able to start to play around with this on Xbox, it really, like, at least for me, and Colin and I were talking about this recently, like it really kind of shifts this like feeling in your mind from it being like, you know, at least for us, we've seen this on PC for so long, we've never played on PC for so long, but when you actually, and we've been playing on Xbox controllers on PC, you know, but when you actually see it on the console and you see it up there on the screen, it just, I don't know if there's an actual difference in the way it looks, or if it really is just that, like, it's just that feeling you get of like, oh, whoa, this is like really real. It
may be psychological, but it just it feels either more vibrant or smoother, and I'm sure it's psychological. But there's something magical when you're playing it on a different console. Yeah, I mean, it becomes a completely different thing. Up to now, you know, this started as an NFT project, and Web3, you know, completely in our community is probably 90% Web3 people, and so going to Xbox, I think it opens this whole world of kids. I mean, it's a very family friendly, but a little bit edgy, right? It's not like super squeaky clean like Disney.
It's a battle game that mama loves.
Right. There you go. And so this is going to open up a whole new audience of people that don't even know anything about crypto. Yeah. Hopefully they'll just start playing, having fun, and then later they'll learn
integrations will just
there's hooks themselves. There's all these hooks underneath that they can take advantage of with street cred, with NFTs, and so on. And so I think we're doing this the right way. You know, now that words like metaverse are no longer cool, now that hype is thankfully kind of is behind us, it kind of feels like we truly are building the foundation for something that really is a metaverse.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, one thing to also mention is, you know, kind of touching on what Luke was saying as well, is we're on the bleeding edge of this industry right now. That's why, you know, whilst you're involved here, whilst you get into distribution channels, whilst you're trying to solve a problem, there's a lot of issues, a lot of things you can't really account for that come up often and you've got to solve for. And that's why, you know, you're seeing very minimal movement from a lot of titles in the space. because you come up with problems you have to solve for distribution. And because the Web 2 industry and the traditional industry is not very crypto mature yet. It will get there, but it's not yet. So there's problems that come up that you have to solve for. And a lot of the time, whilst you're developing your game and trying to have fun, you're also solving for a lot of problems for the industry, because there are no blueprints out there. Nobody's done this thing perfectly yet. So we're one of the first kind of studios that are really kind of taking that step further from the previous generation and actually, solving for these problems that a lot of people in the industry are having. So shout out to the team, and everybody's doing the bit there. And that's why, when Kevin Mack and Colin talk about they're having to develop plugins for Unreal and actually even help Unreal with certain things as well, because we are coming up with things that are just not there within the engines that we need. So there's a lot of that as well. So we do also kind of contribute as well. So we're always here to help others and help with guidance, and hopefully we will be laying down that blueprint that others can follow as well.
Yeah, something that Kevin's really good at is fostering growth within the studio. I mean, there really are no experts exactly for what we're doing here. So it turns out you just kind of have to build your own experts. So yeah, we have some of us that are a little more seasoned and been doing this for a while, but some of our superheroes are people that have just been out of school a couple of years, or maybe they never even found their strength or their superpower while they were in high school. So many of the people here, and even the people that are drawn towards gaming in general, they don't fit into the normal category like being good in math or being good in this or that. But all of a sudden, they're like geniuses at what they can do well. And so a lot of it we hire on character and motivation and willingness to learn. And so the best people we have, don't tell them this, hope they're not listening, but they're experts out. We have a team of experts now, but we've built those experts over years.
Totally.
I call the philosophy the 3 A's: attitude, aptitude, and ability, in that order of importance. Somebody's got the right attitude, like they love doing this stuff and want to learn it, and they've got some aptitude, like there's a chance that they could do it. Then I don't really care what they've done before or what they haven't, because they're going to learn. Right. We totally don't keep people in boxes in this studio.
Yeah, definitely not.
It's like somebody's starting to get excited about something and showing talent in it, then dive in and explore it and learn it. It's like you never know, what somebody's going to discover. And I think when people are excited about the work they're doing, they make magic.
Right.
Totally, 100%.
One of our best artists here, Andrew Harlow, he was a modeler for most of his career. Turns out he's an excellent designer, but he never gave him the opportunity. So many of the Easter eggs you see, and there's a lot of inside jokes, but a lot of the storefront names, a lot of the graphics you see, a lot of the graphics on video games and weapons and things like this were things that he came up with. And because we gave him the chance. But it turns out, we're the ones who win because he's amazing at it. So that's just kind of how everybody's story goes here in a different way.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Also, Kevin is required to wear a suit and tie every day here at AMGI.
Right?
I thought that was just his je ne sais quoi.
Every day at AMGI, he's required to work at his desk, write lines and lines of code in a nice suit.
Very nice looking suit.
Yeah.
Also is often required to wear a wizard hat, because this guy is an absolute wizard.
That's also true.
Clashes with his tie.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the wizard hat's down on my desk.
Oh, hey, it's the there's a skin for this.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's fun that you have that weaved in.
There's a theater screen somewhere around here, right? How do you get to it?
I was already there. I was looking for popcorn to burn. Not quite sure. Am I supposed to make the popcorn?
Shoot it.
I've been shooting it.
Yeah. All right. I guess there's a new feature, Tad. Thank you.
I think if it wants you to burn the popcorn, you probably got to use a flamethrower on it.
Is that why everyone's using flamethrowers in here?
Nice.
That makes sense. Yeah.
They're trying to give me hints without,
Friendly people.
All right, let's find a flamethrower then.
You were just. I think you were just next one.
Oh, really?
How are you feeling about it so far? The look and the feel, the combat aspects, just generally roaming around on the skateboard.
I mean, you can tell. Right? You can tell by what I'm doing that I'm vibing with just kind of everything around me, taking it in. There's a lot of details in here, a lot to explore.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm inside of like an animated film that I already know or something.
That was the intention.
Nice.
Like this kind of stuff. It's very familiar.
They did not tell him to say that. For what?
No, they didn't.
I love it, man.
Where was that flamethrower? I feel rugged.
Over to where I believe you go back over to where the popcorn is, I think.
Okay.
I could be
How are you
mistaken.
feeling, Jack? You got a big smile on your face.
It's awesome. I mean, when you were talking about using the metaverse term, but talking about kind of what it takes to get to that point, I think you hit the nail on the head. Like what it takes is creating a world that people want to spend all their time in, and that world needs to have a story, it needs to have life. And My Better Hooligan has that in spades, absolutely. Like the fact there's so much to talk about, frankly, just in this one little room that Eli's been spending time in for like 5+ minutes. It's like, frankly, just really impressive. Like, I think that's something that a lot of Web3 native teams can struggle with, is like just squeezing out that depth of content, just because of the amount of work it takes and the resources required. So like that's something you guys have really done. You've leveraged like obviously your strengths really well to, I think, carve out that strength in particular.
Cool.
Thank you, man.
Thank you very much.
Thank
There
you.
you go. Is Elon Musk now with the chainsaw?
This is just like the gameplay is not the same, but just like the vibe I'm getting is Conquer's Bad Fur Day. Just like the crudeness,
Oh yeah, that
the
was
the attitude,
beginning.
Yep. That's
the
right.
humor.
Yep.
Yeah. Well done.
Definitely an inspiration.
Yeah.
And like one of the things too is like, everything, pretty much everything in here is destructible. You have
Yeah, I noticed.
that explode and shoot flames. You have fire hydrants that shoot water and shoot you in the air. You have all these boxes that have packing peanuts or trash, and the cars explode. Some have collectibles, some don't. I mean, we really wanted to make this game super interactive. Even if you're just kind of going around and blowing things up and having fun fighting Zuckbots or doing quests. And then on the other side of it, when you actually get into a battle and you're, in a high intense moment and you're shooting at somebody trying to get them, and next thing you know, you're blowing up all these packing peanuts, you're blowing up all these hydrants, you're blowing up all these, these flammable boxes. Like, it just adds to that chaos of battle, and it makes it that much more fun to kind of see that all happening in real time.
Yeah, it's dope. You should try and go to the villain's office, met us up, but
Yeah.
See if we can go find him.
Yeah, it's the light blue section over on the east side.
Okay.
He's
Um,
and also
I
if you notice, sorry, go for it.
I was gonna say I feel like the you're talking about breaking everything. When I see that, I kind of feel like I'm in a like a rec room or a break room or whatever they call them.
Yeah.
The rage room.
Rage room.
You can just take out a lot of your rage and blow shit up. It's like you guys went to your game designers. You're like, all right, we want to make this a break room, so just make it feel like that.
Yeah, I think he probably Carl probably needed a rage room.
Yeah,
Yeah,
rage
last-
room. It's a
Whilst
rage
he was
room.
working on this.
All right, what is this toilet plunger?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my
Yeah,
favorites.
check the animation out on that as well. You got to see the animation.
It's a toilet roll with shooting it out.
Plunger.
The
Plunger
sniper.
toilet roll.
Yeah, it's a sniper rifle. So what's great about this too is like when you're seeing actual like battles play out with this, and you see like we've had it happen in tournaments where like we have the spectator
TV.
cam going on. You just have this streams of toilet paper flying across the map, and it's just absolutely wild.
I remember when Carl first put in the toilet paper trail.
He's got one stuck in his head.
Yeah, it was like, all right,
That was hilarious.
Attention to detail.
Yeah.
No expense spared in the detail department
No.
for sure.
well, people are making what they think is funny.
Exactly.
I really think like,
Trust in-
that was the secret to like the old Warner Brothers Bugs Bunny cartoons, was that they were just making whatever they thought was funny themselves.
Yeah.
And like there's no suit here telling people what to what to do.
That's right.
Other than this suit here.
Right. So it's
The guy says that wearing a suit.
Yeah, I mean that's the same kind of principle as like, if you're like a musician and you have the mentality of only releasing music that you want to hear in the world. So like when you're making a game, it's no different, right? Like you make the games you want to play, and if you do it that way, like you can't really do it wrong. Sure, like the business side, the marketing side, that's a little more complex, but just when it comes to making the game fun, like, make your game, like your dream game, and that should resonate with at least a handful of people.
Yeah.
Because fun is in the small stuff, and you're only going to get the small stuff if you're vibing with it yourself. It's like if you're trying to do something that you don't really like, that you just think somebody else is going to like, it's just going to feel hollow, because it is. Right. It's like it's the weirdness that makes this look cool.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, we have people working on the weekends on this thing just because they love it. I mean, I know it's not entirely healthy to work all the time, but it's really difficult when your dream job crosses over with what you do for a living, because then you kind of don't know where it ends. So we almost have to tell people. In fact, one of our characters is named
Go to bed, Carl. Go to bed, Carl.
Go to bed, Carl.
One of the bots.
That's actually hilarious.
He's always working.
I'll see check-ins on Perforce at like 4 a.m.
There you go. That was a good trick there.
Thank you.
I mean, Colin, you got people working on the weekend. You said you're hiring from high school, college, kindergarten. What's going on here?
Well, no, I mean, I suppose it's kind of maybe I don't know, maybe in another decade or something like that. I could actually imagine starting some kind of school of sorts, because I do think that people. I don't think the current education system is doing too many people favors of like putting things in boxes, and then you just kind of do the test, and then you forget everything that's on the test. This is kind of like you're following the person's passion, and then you're encouraging them just enough to get out of their comfort zone, and then they're surprising themselves. I always say it's like our job is to recognize their superpower and then to magnify that 10 times greater than they ever thought it would be. And so we have a team of superheroes here, and these people, like I said, I always think like, give us your most disgruntled kids in high school and see what we can do with them, because I think there's a different way to motivate people than the current education system.
We have a school.
Yeah,
we do.
That's right.
Yeah, we do.
We just hired Brian Pohl. He was the head of the training department for all of Epic Games. Like, he was in charge of the Epic Fellowship program. He probably trained thousands of people. So he works for us now. And so he's very methodical, and he's a very, kind of gentle, soft-spoken, very wise kind of guy. And so he's in charge of our training program in terms of all the latest real tips, tricks, control rig, and Lyra, and all these different kind of best practices. Kevin is teaching everybody, people that never thought they'd be programmers, people that have come in as animators and designers are now all of a sudden becoming experts in C++. It's really crazy. People that are like, oh, I'm not a programmer. It's like, well, all right, that maybe what you think a programmer is, you're not that.
I always tell them, it's like, none of us were when we were toddlers. Every one of us learned, like, started somewhere.
Today, I mean, there's a huge trend of just all the vibe coding that we're seeing with the AI gaming. So I think the gap between I'm a developer and somebody picking it up is closing pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, especially with AI stuff, with ChatGPT. I mean, a lot of the documentation isn't even written for a lot of the stuff we're doing, and people are going to ChatGPT. I'm saying, how'd you learn this so fast? Like, well, I just taught myself with ChatGPT.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's happening. It's real. People are writing code, and sometimes 75% of it through ChatGPT, and then using the 25% to fix it themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I asked the developers on the floor. It's one of the steps for submission is going, toss your class into your LLM of choice. Could be Chat, could be Grok or whatever, and just ask it, can you see anything wrong with this? And it'll spot stuff. It'll spot unsafe pointer dereferences. It'll spot stuff that maybe you didn't catch. And it's and also it can write the documentation for you, which makes it easier for somebody else to maintain. Really cool. It's a prosthetic. It allows you to use your mind faster, better. When people see it that way, instead of as a replacement for knowing what they're doing, but as an accelerant, support for knowing what they're doing.
Accelerant.
You can do magic.
You seem to be very, very attracted to the arcade and cinema.
Well, I just got a flamethrower, so I had to go back.
You're man on a mission, man.
You must be a big movie guy. Tell us about some of your favorites.
This is the quest.
So that's the question.
He's finishing the quest.
I never forgot about the quest. Everyone thought I did. They were making fun of me all day, and they said, wow, this guy can't find a flamethrower to save his life. And now I'm back, and I have the last laugh. They call me Golden Bun. Golden Bun. I like how when you attack with this thing, they kind of like flick it around in their hand too. There's like these little subtleties.
That's actually a community suggestion too.
Yeah, community idea. Yeah,
That was the very first community idea.
It was.
First thing
Carrot
the community
dagger.
ever asked for was the carrot.
Yeah, little carrot dagger.
Yeah.
Community helped design that as well. From what I
Yeah.
remember, I think we put up like maybe like 10 different options of design for it, and this is the one they chose.
That's awesome.
So yeah,
Central
look at
Park.
animation.
Attack of the Giant Zuckbot. Carrot Express. You guys definitely had fun with this.
That's great.
On the topic of what you guys were talking about, what you're saying is My Pet Hooligan is creating education reform for developers, and
that's right. Yeah,
There we
all
go.
grade schools will be using this as part of their curriculum.
Well, I mean, I think it goes to show, like, you know, there's definitely a new wave of developers coming about with AI tools and everything like that, and you know, there's a new adoption of you know, games and entertainment, IP, nice, you know, using, you know, blockchain technologies. And you know, I think that being a studio of our size and being able to be open to using new tools, using AI, using blockchain, like, it's just being open to it, I think, is like the big, you know, kind of like hurdle for a lot of these like big studios that are out here, at least in the entertainment space, that they may be interested or they want to try it, but they only have a little vertical that'll dabble in it. They don't actually like dive in head first. And, you know, we, on the other end, we dove in completely in head first and seen, how does all this stuff make us better? How does it make our products better? How does it make our work go faster? And by doing that, you stay on that cutting edge. You stay on the bleeding edge.
Yeah. I mean, it's like this whole discussion people have about, will AI replace people, or is it going to replace artists? And it's so funny, on a practical day-to-day level, that really doesn't come up. It's just a tool to magnify what you do. It'd be like saying, you know, will cars replace people? It's just like, no, it just makes you
Better.
go, you know, 1,000 times further.
it's a
than you-
tool. It's a
It's exactly it. It's a tool.
No, I like that.
Hey, Eli. So if you pull up the map too, there's some pretty cool areas like the there's the Mutants area, Cypher Buns area, that, like, I think you'll get some pretty good enjoyment out of too. If you go up, you'll start to see there's a decentral park in the middle.
oh yeah, the map's so huge. I just spent like half an hour in one tiny district. You know,
It's honestly, man, that's kind of the beauty of it, is just like having like, you know, like close attention to detail all around this thing. And so when you're, you know, all of these different areas you're going into, these are all different battle maps that when you're in, you know, Anarchy or Team Anarchy or Coin Apocalypse, you will be, you know, popped up into these different maps here to battle in. But when you're just out there exploring, I mean, you could spend hours just like discovering new stuff in this map. So
Yeah.
speaking to the more casual player that Kev was talking about before, you know, we want to make sure that there's enough for everybody to do in this map, and to constantly keep growing it and updating it, showing that there's, you know, more depth to this world than just going in and having, you know, warfare and stuff like that.
yeah. I mean, I definitely wouldn't call this a shooter at this point. Like, I'm doing so many different things.
Yeah. So there's a great game designer from way back in the day, Richard Barlow. He wrote an essay. This is probably 40 years ago, called The Taxonomy of Player Types, and he broke down game players
That's
into
cool.
killers, explorers, socializers, and achievers. And everybody's got a bit of each of these. And so, like, you got an axis on the social side scale and an axis on the achievement scale. And you really want to cover each of those player types. You know, so your killers, they're going to be playing Anarchy, and your explorers, they're going to be in this mode here. Your achievers, you're probably going to be in this mode and doing quests. And we got a bunch more stuff coming in to satisfy this. And your socializers, they're probably living in here as well. Your achievers probably also, like, you know, earning street cred out in the multiplayer games. But when you think about it that way, when you think about it, like, okay, you got these 4 needs that players have, and you start looking like, what can we do that's cool for this person? What can we do that's cool for the explorer? What can we do that's cool for the achiever? Then you can make something that lets you craft your own experience.
Something we're super excited about is called the Hideout. And so right now when you enter the game, you get turns to a menu. We have an apartment that we built for each hooligan. It's kind of like a rabbit hole mixed with kind of like your first college apartment. And this is a place where your friends and your NFTs can just hang out and talk and socialize. People compare it to, Helldivers or a lot of these games where you just kind of hang out with your friends before the game begins.
Yeah.
I expect that some people will just prefer to just hang out there.
Yeah, 100%. That's one thing I've talked to a lot of Web3 games about is, get a social element into your pipeline. One, because you're in Web3, and that's kind of the whole ethos of Web3 is this connectedness and evolving, that gameplay, internet kind of synergy. So it just makes so much sense to have these spaces where people can use all of these NFTs or whatever you want to call them and just have a way to express and chat and hang out and just noodle around. I mean, what are we now, like 45 minutes into playing this, and just still so much to do and actually not do.
Yeah.
I'm a real believer in like being experiences and doing experiences. It's like and hanging out here is a being experience.
Yeah.
When you were talking about that, like the taxonomy of players, it reminds me of like the science of how you get players to come back to a game, or how you get players to. It's kind of like in game design. It's when because there's so many games to play, people take, they get really into a game, but then they take a break for no reason, but then they come back to it. And depending on how the game's designed with that in mind, will they come back to it and be able to get right back into it, or will they spend like 30 minutes and just be like, I'm too confused, I got to start a new file, those kind of things. And it has to do with like the player autonomy, the connectedness, and there's another one I forget, but it's like that self-determination theory in gaming. It's very important, and you guys are touching on a lot of that.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, we are. I mean, trying to make this a well-rounded game is always been the intent. Making it a fun game first has been kind of the motto.
That's awesome. Well done.
There you go. See, there you go. Case in point, making a fun game first. It's the easiest thing to say, the hardest thing to do, and we feel like we're actually really starting to check those boxes.
Well, yeah, finding that right level of humor. I mean, it's not Disney. It's more like punk rock Disney, I suppose.
Yeah, totally.
We're trying to make sure that kids feel a little bit edgy with this, and that the parents are also still okay with it as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what we found with this game is like, in the brand is like, we don't want to make something that's like, so degen, so Web3 that only speaks to one audience. Yeah. We want to make something that is appealing to a mass audience, and we don't want to make something that's so young and kiddie that only speaks to the younger audience.
Right.
So like with this, Eli, you mentioned earlier about you feel like you're playing inside of a Pixar, or an animated movie that you've seen or played before, right?
Familiar with.
And that's something that the animated movies have done so well. They hit a 4-quadrant movie. It's cool for the kids. It's great for the grandparents and everybody in between. Right. And this game, we feel really has a lot of those same aspects where, all the conferences we've gone to, all the player feedback we've gotten is like, it speaks to the younger players and the older players. And it's like, it's cool for the younger players to play because it's almost, it has a certain look and aesthetic that's not too young, but it's not too old either. So it has that teen rating. It's safe for like a younger audience to play. But then for the older audience, you still have hardcore, like battle modes. You still have some fun questing, like kind of a casual game experience and go explore, find stuff within this world. So like,
and an entire Web3 ecosystem.
Exactly. And a huge Web3 ecosystem that we've built into this thing. So like, we really are building a massive machine here. And like, on the Web3 side, or in the Web3 space, like we all know, like it's all about like a lot of this space is the hype and keeping like up with that hype, but also I think there's a lot to be said with those steady, consistent builders that are out there. How do you become a powerhouse? It's not just you show up one day and you're there. It's just that constant, gradual build, time and time again, year over year, keep showing up, keep delivering. And that's exactly what we have done since we've started this company, since we've launched MPH. And that's exactly what we still do here today with Xbox, with Steam, with Arbitrum, with you guys. I mean, it's just about continuing to deliver a quality product.
Keeping a focus on that 4-quadrant accessibility has been really paramount to this entire project, and we do see the opportunity and the opportunity to scale this to a much wider audience, and that ultimately is the proposition.
Everybody in Web3 talks about how do you get this to the masses, and is it through films? Is it through DeFi? Is it through gaming? Is it through all these different avenues?
Fundamentally, it's about building good products.
Exactly. That's exactly it. It's not just going to come from one source. It'll come from multiple sources. But, for us, it's through our IP. It's through our game. And, as we've seen, younger generations are 100%. They understand digital ownership. They understand game currencies. They understand all that so much more. And so, to get to mass adoption, it's not about hitting people over the head with it and forcing them into it. It's about having products that you associate with, whether there's Web3 or not, that you like, and then you learn that there's other
things are seamlessly integrated, and make sure that you've created an ecosystem and platform that people like spending time in.
Oh, there's more to this. Okay, I can learn about this. Oh, there's currencies. Oh, there's blockchain. Abilities.
Additional
exactly.
Things like that, right?
Now, then you're actually winning that game of or playing in the game of mass adoption, getting people to do this.
Exactly.
Versus just saying, hey, we're going to do it, and how are we going to do it? We're going to beat them into the submission. No. We're going to build something that people really like.
Because it's not tech for its own sake.
Yeah,
exactly. That's exactly right.
You think about it, in a way, the hats in Team Fortress were probably an early prototype for NFTs.
Totally.
It's using the stuff, and I feel like the Web3 space is in very much the space that the internet was in the late 90s. It's like where we'd gone through this big hype cycle, and everybody's like, wow, this is going to be huge, and then you see a whole bunch of bullshit, and people do some stupid stuff, and then the whole thing comes crashing apart, and then everybody's like, oh, that whole thing was a fad after all, and meanwhile, the serious people look at it and say, yeah, but
there's some really foundational, amazing stuff to build here, right? There's some really foundational technologies to use,
and that's where this is. It's like, there's, what can you do with a really good database, which is what a blockchain is? A whole lot.
A hell of a lot. Exactly.
And what can you do with owning stuff? A lot.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's where we're at. People are starting to figure out, okay, what is this really for? And that's the approach. Use it for what people care about, not just the solution in search of a problem.
Yep,
exactly,
man.
Like your get up.
Thank you. You saw me snag that little cosmetic. Just for the mask. Did it for the mask and for the banners here.
That's pretty cool.
One of the it's one of the things that people discuss a lot in Web3 gaming, right? Take your classic example, card game. Do people want to own those cards? Actually, not everyone does. Some do. So I think it's about building this game that, at the front, it just seems like anything they're used to. But then if you are the kind of player that, I want to friggin' own all my cards and then trade them with people, then give them that funnel to do that. But
that's exactly right.
Yeah, don't shove it down people's throats if they're not, used to it. It comes with a lot of explanation and a lot of baggage sometimes if they're not ready for it, or if it's just not something they're interested in. So it's nice to let people kind of choose their own adventure when it comes to how they interact with your game and how deep they can go with the autonomy and ownership side.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Tough balance. It's not something that's easy. It's easy to talk about, but definitely hard to implement.
Certainly hard to implement, hard to execute, but it's worth. The juice is definitely worth the squeeze.
Yeah, and it's worth striking it for sure.
Yeah, definitely. How do you get to the future? Is you build towards it. And, you be ready for when you arrive there.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, this has been pretty fun. We didn't do any like competitive stuff, which is what I thought it was only going to be, but I'm glad it wasn't, and that kind of echoed the whole point of the game, right? Like
We anticipated that you might not want to do that.
Well, I don't know. You guys called it a social action game, and I didn't even know what that meant until I got in here and was just literally just doing that. So, well, then, like I thought I was gonna just jump in, play a battle royale, like people think a battle royale is, but no, I jumped in and did a whole other journey.
I'll have to have another one for the competitive side.
Yeah, we'll need to have another one where it's like an organized, I don't know, 10v10 or battle royale, like something like that.
Why don't we do Arbitrum versus AMGR Studios 4 versus 4?
Yeah, we should do something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Let's do it.
Video face off.
Let's go.
Careful what you wish for.
Who, me or them? I'm gonna get wrecked. All right, guys. Is there anything you want to leave the listeners with? Something that's coming up on the near future? I know you're gonna meet us up in GDC as well and do some stuff at the Wolves Den. But yeah, anything else with the studio and things like that?
So I guess the one thing that I'll leave everybody with is as Skyhopper's been promoting out there, go wish list now on Xbox. I believe the link was shared out there. I believe there's going to be a new announcement coming here imminently, probably in the next couple hours, if not a couple of minutes. We just got our Steam page up as well, so a little alpha drop there. So go wish on Steam as well.
So cool, guys.
And there's some pretty cool things that are coming out with the My Pet Hooligan, dare I say, feature film. Some cool stuff that are brewing in the background.
Yeah.
So everybody keep an eye out for the advancements there. But as always, thanks to the community. Arbitrum, you guys have been awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Our pleasure pleasure.
Studio chain and Arbitrum.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Was happy to give you guys the stage today. You guys had a lot of cool stuff to say and on the top of a cool game. So
yeah, we're pumped for the future of everything Studio Chain and My Pet Hooligan. So let's go.
Very grateful for your help.
Absolutely.
I'm just gonna zone out to the music as we wind it down here, guys. All right, enjoy your weekend, and I'll see some of you at GDC next week.
Peace.
See you guys. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
On the street and road jumper, beat up savages. Some baby walkers faction, know what time it is. Showtime, game time, we found it in the war pit. Caught a rabbit hole where I doubt the other faction win. For mental energy, that's impossible. We capable of taking drones at massive. Now name another faction who can do that with their eyes closed. They the only one out back, and that's the big one.
On this lonely road, and where we go, nobody knows. Our strength, our blood, our body grows. Watch us as we take the show. Cause we know else don't go, that's why we walk this lonely road. Our strength, our blood, our vibe shows. We going, we going, we going.
Put your money on the squad, on the Fetty, you ain't make it. It's guaranteed we breaking all the banks, yeah, that's a safe bet. If you ain't talking money, then it ain't no need to say it. Cause if we ain't speaking dollars, then it's never gonna make sense. We don't talk L's, only dubs when we deep points. Put me in the red zone. Run the play action, throw the bullet like a neat toy. And I ain't never met a suck that I couldn't beat, boy. Wanna do the drama, do it live in the mañana, run it up and make the commas. Got a llama with a lot of violent missiles in the bottom, make it hotter in the kitchen, send you back home to your mama. I'm a rider on the field, dying for the cause. Flip a coin, get destroyed, boy, I'm dying for the toss. Set the bar high enough to see the climbing for the stars, cause we road jumpers, anybody try us getting.
We gonna roll on this lonely road, and where we go, nobody knows. Our strength, our blood, our body grows. Watch us as we take the show, cause we know else don't go, that's why we walk this lonely road. Our strength, our blood, our vibe shows. We going, we going, we going, we going.
My mind at ease, a flame on these mindless thieves and sucker roaches, only them will my kind appease. My tears, blood and sweat, tears, ain't no mind I fear. I'll relentlessly scheme until victory's eve, and victory I believe. This my story, cold-blooded bunny born of the underbelly alley of this zuckered society. They can try all they wanna, but can't stop this monster inside of me. On which side of thee? You either with us or against us. We ain't no hamsters with a hop-stepping rabbit hole rappers. All fists, no weapon stopping on that sub-metal. Float like a butterfly, but sting like a nettle. Till it settles up, cop is my endeavor. I endeavor to win, but all good deeds are conflicted by sin. Carrot gang be my brethren and kin, a road jumper. Let my story begin.